The transfer market is already in full flow with Memphis Depay moving to Manchester United indefinitely in the summer. It hasn't exactly opened yet, but once the summer transfer window opens, a lot of players are going to be moving, and we want to talk about which teams need to add the most. So we've got a couple of graphics here. We're going to start off with the players that we consistently say are most likely to move in the summer. This isn't definite. This is just taking it from the rumour. So Paul Pogba is at the top of every single rumour mill at the moment because everybody wants him in their team. He's one of the most highly anticipated players to have played the game in terms of coming from France in a while. He's really is a star athlete. He's athletic as he is talented. He would be a good addition to any team. So Paul Pogba is expected to move somewhere. Manchester City are trying to make an offer.
Well, that's why I put yes, Yaya Toure is in talks to be moved to Juventus, Pogba to Manchester City. Money thrown everywhere.
I don't know how much it is. 71 million plus Yaya Toure is an unbelievable amount of money. Because how much do you value? Pounds. How much do you value Pogba if you're going to sell arguably your best player? Everyone said Yaya Toure was Manchester City's main man with Aguero last season, and now this season he hasn't had the best of seasons, so they're thinking that he should be one that's used as bait.
You're getting rid of the best chant in football.
Yeah, that's very true. The Yaya Toure, Colo Toure chant. We'll throw out a video to remind you guys of what that is.
My favourite.
The next on the list there, we mentioned Gareth Bale, who seems to be unhappy.
We've kind of talked about the top three.
Yeah, we've talked about him.
So the bottom three that gets
Raheem
interesting.
Sterling rejected his contract at Liverpool, so he is probably going to move, and I do not blame him for moving. I think he is very talented, and he needs to take his talents
within or outside the Premier League?
I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a team like Manchester City tried to lure him there.
They all go to Manchester.
Real Madrid could probably utilise him if Gareth Bale is going out the way. Or
if
who?
Got a Bleacher Report update last night that former goalkeeper for Real Madrid has stated there's like no backing.
This is he just stated one time.
Rumor number 1 of 3,000 that Ronaldo's leaving Real Madrid at the end of the season.
Yeah, if Ronaldo.
I gotta mention it. It's fun.
It is a rumor. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ronaldo, there was one time where he said, "I would like to go back to Manchester." He could have meant for a vacation. He could have meant to say hi to Alex Ferguson. He could have meant to just hang out. But everyone's like, "Oh, he's gone back. It's his signed deal. He's moving back to Manchester. Get the number 7 jersey ready again. Di Maria, mate, take it off because you are guff." But I think it could happen. But not this year. I don't think Ronaldo's worthy of mentioning. Benzema was one in there.
Yeah.
And
is Real Madrid going to implode? That should be a different club.
They're not going to implode. But Real Madrid, what you realise is that they have the ability to let go some of their prospects. It's not an ability. It's somewhat their downfall. They let Di Maria go when arguably he was one of the best players in the World Cup. And they let him go. Look what happened to him. And look at Gareth Bale, who was keeping him out of the team more often than not, isn't exactly playing to the best of his abilities. So I think they let Di Maria go to LA. Everyone in the world agrees with that. Even Manchester United fans who took him with open arms but now want to give him back.
For a decent chunk of change,
Yeah, and David De Gea is one that we mentioned on there. He hasn't said that he's going to move, although there was an image of him snapped on an EasyJet flight to Spain, offered like, what, 300,000 a week at Manchester United, and you take an EasyJet flight? Mate, come on, you can upgrade.
EasyJet?
EasyJet is like, I don't know, it's like an Uber for planes.
That's awesome.
It's really cheap.
They just pick you up at your house?
Yeah, it's almost like that, but it's so cheap. I'm like, you could have at least, he wasn't even first class, he was just sitting there normal, packed against the emergency exit with no leg room. I'm like, you could have at least upgraded, mate. So he's said to be gone, but this is the main thing we wanted to get to, and we will end on this, and we'll talk about this more. The teams, they need to add players more than anything, so I'm going to run through them first, and then we'll talk about which ones.
Shocking!
Man City and Manchester United. So Manchester in general need players. Atletico Madrid is one that I put in there that I will talk about and why. AC Milan, Liverpool, and you could throw in many more, like your Arsenals, like PSG, because in their...
We know they're trying.
We know that, well, they've got that amount of money they want to try to buy.
Where did they get their funding from? Do we know?
Some millionaire, billionaire, oil baron probably.
Just like bought a toy that happened to be a franchise.
Yeah, what am I going to buy today? Ferrari? No, I'll buy PSG.
PSG.
Right, no worries. But I think one of the main ones to talk about, which people are going to argue with me undoubtedly, is whether Atletico Madrid deserve to be in that list. I think they do, because I think their fans, after being so close to like the best double they've ever seen with La Liga and Champions League, they want to make that final step, because now they lost to Real Madrid this year again. They sold their best players, Thibaut Courtois and Diego Costa last year, and Philippe Luis. They did bring in Mandzukic, who's a good signing, but I think they want to continue to strengthen. And Diego Simeone will be one who'll be out in the market. He'll be looking for players, and he'll be looking to strengthen their attacking threat.
And that's, I guess, because there's, again, these are all rumors, all speculation, but Diego Simeone has been in the headlines for moving out of Atletico Madrid. Although I know you believe he won't do it,
I don't think he will.
I don't ever like being surprised by things that happen, because I've seen it happen in American sports, just like I've seen it happen in the transfer markets and the transfer windows. Things just happen out of nowhere.
Money talks.
Like, there's a lot of headlines. There's a lot of money being thrown around. So things like where you read, like, oh, Pogba's meeting in Torino with Simeone, Manchester City. Yeah, that means there's talks. It doesn't mean anything's going to happen, or maybe it does.
Yeah, if Diego Simeone wants to move and Manchester City want him, they'll get him, because they'll pay a lot of money for him. But I don't think, talked about this on 120 Sports, I don't think Manchester City are going to be going for Diego Simeone. I think Jurgen Klopp is going to take that position. Or they're talking about Guardiola. So that brings up a good point. Manchester City may be in the market looking for players, but they're going to be in the market looking for managers.
Managers, right.
Pellegrini, for me, inevitably, is going to be out. And they need to bring in, even though they'll finish second, which technically isn't that bad, with their money, their resources, a Premier League title last year, poor Champions League again, they need to bring in players. They need to refresh that team, which is why Yaya Toure might be leaving, which is why James Milner might be going to Arsenal on a free transfer. Great signing for them. Good stuff, Arsene Wenger. But
the criticism that comes down on bosses in world football is shocking to me. Because, like, coaches take, in both bosses, coaches, whatever you want to call them, managers, take a lot of crap from a lot of either papers, people, social media. It doesn't matter which way it is. But in world football, like Louis van Gaal, 3 matches into the Premier, we're fucked. This guy sucks. We're not gonna. And look how Manchester United came back, of course, in the second half. And Pellegrini, who won a goddamn Premier League title, goes and gets kicked out of the Champions League, and all of a sudden, again, it's not. I guess not all of a sudden, but just again, this is my perspective on these things. My observation is just like, I don't think Pellegrini is that bad of a manager.
Football fans are ruthless, and they have very short memories.
They're impatient.
Why Gareth Bale right now, and Real Madrid fans in particular, why Gareth Bale has come under so much scrutiny. He's the guy that scored the essential goal to win the Champions League final for them last year, and everyone loved him. This year, because he's not giving Ronaldo the ball as much and not performing as well, he's now wanted to
all of world football is the New York Yankees. If you perform in pinstripes, you will be loved. If you strike out, you get booed. Same day.
It's for teams that have that amount of money. Teams that are content with being hard-working teams will be fine. It's teams that start to have money, and it's teams that come close to success, then they have every right to complain. And that's why Liverpool, probably the main team that needs to add, because there's no more Southampton to raid, because I think Southampton don't have the same magnitude of players that they had when everyone wanted to get their players. But Liverpool need to not raid a team like Southampton, and no discredit to Southampton fans. They need to go and start signing players of the same magnitude as Luis Suarez, because they tried to replace him with Ricky Lambert, Lallana, all these guys, and it's just nowhere near the same quality. So if Liverpool want to have any chance at a successful season next year, they have to make some big signings. Like, there was talks of Shaqiri potentially coming last year. I think he went on loan to Inter. They need to sign someone like that who's talented, who's performed at the highest level, who can play there. They can't go in to mid-level to maybe upper-level teams like Southampton and rely on taking all their players. They need to rely on making big-name signings, especially if Sterling goes. There will be uproar. The Scousers will go crazy if they sell another big-name signing and don't bring in anyone of the same magnitude. So they're the teams that need to add players. Who do you guys think will be moving in the transfer window? Will any of the names on the list be moving? Is there any teams we missed? I know we said Arsenal at the start. Do they need to add more players to strengthen their Premier League campaign next year? Leave your comments in the section below. Come back to TYT Sports. Me and Jason will be talking a lot more football. We're starting out some new shows ahead of the Copa America, so stay tuned to that as well. Yeah, I just made it up.